weather. It governs our world, bringing life, death, and destruction.
God damn it, go back.
We're fine.
Oh my God! It's drowning!
Wow. World's deadliest weather is back. Bigger and badder. This time we include deadly natural disasters.
One of the most terrifying moments of my life.
Featuring earth-shattering quakes.
Yo ahí vi pasar toda mi vida. Pero yo pensé que ya no la iba a lograr.
I saw an entire building collapse.
It was like something out of a movie.
And volcanoes.
It looks like all of my wildest dreams.
Using people's extraordinary self-shot footage.
We're gonna die, dude! We gotta get out of here! Mason, get away from the windows now!
And their death-defying stories.
I remember instantly thinking, I just watched her die.
I had to turn on my inner stunt driver and just get out of there quick.
I thought I was gonna burn alive.
We go eyeball to eyeball with Mother Nature.
It's crazy! It's crazy! Come on!
And witness up close
Get on there!
the all-consuming power of the elements.
The mountain was coming to get us.
Flash right there! This place is just hell.
It was just horrific.
I had never in my life experienced anything like that.
Everybody take cover! Now!
Coming up in this episode.
Oh boy!
A surprise twister obliterates a small provincial town in Uruguay.
No contaba que el techo se movía, que el vitrón se movía, me tiré de...
Y que sea lo que ellos quieran.
One man single-handedly takes on California's biggest ever wildfire to save his neighborhood.
I've always respected Mother Nature. I've never understood its power until I went through this.
And a daring volcanologist becomes the first person to reach the world's largest lava lake.
One breath of that, you're dead.
Am I close enough to you?
Uruguay, the tiny South American country, is not considered a hotspot for natural disasters. But on the 15th of April 2016, residents of the city of Dolores spotted a tornado heading straight at them. Many had never seen one before. At the time, radio DJ Freddie Planchon was in the middle of his afternoon radio show.
Ese día, en un día, por ejemplo, a la tarde, hizo mucho calor. Nosotros sentíamos, la gente generalmente, y nosotros también sentíamos como que había mucha presión. Siempre escuché un sonido de viento creciente. Yo siento el golpe constante de chapa, de palos, de cosas que se mueven. Como veía que todo se empezaba a romper, que seguramente no aguantaba, que el techo se movía, que el vitrón se movía, me tiré de... Mi primer reacción es cubrirme. Llego debajo de la mesa que me tiro. Siento detrás mío el vitrón que se rompe. De decenas de partículas de ladrillo que pegan contra las paredes, las puertas que se mueven fuerte, que se golpean y los vidrios que se destruyen, todos los vidrios alrededor. El tragaluz se rompe, cae sobre la mesa, pega incluso un ladrillo muy grande que queda muy cerca mío. Era realmente sorprendente.
The bewildered Dolores residents were being smashed by an EF3 tornado, the third most powerful rated twister, with wind speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. and this malevolent beast was hitting the bullseye. The town square where Pablo Rodrigo Aristaba was a sitting duck.
Paré ahí en la plaza central y se empezó a sentir tipo un ruido. Y miro para atrás y veía cositas volando. En el primer momento pensé que eran pájaros, no sé, papeles. Y ahí en un ratito, menos de un minuto, siento que se empieza cada vez más rápido el viento, más viento, se empiezan a romper las ramas de los árboles. Empieza todo a pegarle a la camioneta. Y ahí fue cuando caí, que era fea la cosa, venía feo. Tipo me tapo y quedo de casualidad con el teléfono filmando, así me tapo la cabeza. Estallaron todos los vidrios ahí, se empezaron a desgajar todos los árboles y se movía para todos lados así. Pero lo peor era ese pino grande que tenía miedo, decía no se me caiga arriba. Cayó ahí la punta de la camioneta. Y esos segundos dentro de la camioneta para mí fue como 3 horas, yo que sé, una cosa que no termina nunca, que pedía por favor que termine. Después el silencio al final. Nada. Y veo todo destrozado. Y era todo un desastre, había árboles, motos tiradas por todos lados, autos dando vueltas, miraba para el lado donde había pasado y se había dejado un surco, vamos a decir, en el medio de la ciudad.
In seconds, the pretty Dolores town centre had turned into one of utter devastation. As the twister bore a deadly path to the outskirts, warehouse worker Luis Bichalba was outside, oblivious of what was about to hit him.
¿No se lo llevará Mazzoni? ¿Sabe qué favor nos devuelve?
Estábamos trabajando normalmente, un día muy pesado, que bromeábamos, ¿viste? Porque no teníamos ni idea de lo que era. No veíamos, estaba atrás de él. En realidad el tornado vino atrás de unos tapones y nosotros no lo veíamos.
Later, Lewis's warehouse takes a direct hit from a twister unleashing unimaginable violence and fury.
Y que sea lo que ellos quieran.
And the town of Dolores faces up to its worst ever catastrophe.
Cuando salgo del edificio me encuentro con la imagen de la ciudad en estado de guerra.
Within Mother Nature's well-stocked armory of deadly weather, the scariest is undoubtedly the tornado. And nowhere on Earth has more than the good old US of A. 3 out of every 4 of the world's twisters touch down there. In Rockledge, Florida, with an incoming twister, this woman is tempting fate in her flimsy lean-to. Tornadoes are rated from 0 to 5 on the Fujita scale. And although this is the weakest, EF0, she just dodges a bullet. Unsurprisingly, we stay in US Tornado Central. This time in Madison, Wisconsin, as this guy heads into something truly evil.
Oh my God! There's a tornado by me! So you can see the damage that it just caused.
Luckily for him, the only twist is to his knickers. If he had left home 1 minute earlier, they might need changing right now. You don't have to be in America to have a close encounter in a car. In Archangel, Russia, this couple are quietly minding their business as they head home. Virtually out of thin air, a large twister swipes past them. Judging by the damage to roofs, trees, and power lines, this could be EF3 rated, with winds over 150 miles per hour. Time to beat a hasty retreat. On average, Europe gets hit by 300 tornadoes a year, and in southern Spain, this one is going for maximum effect, picking on a field of plastic greenhouses. Soon the sky is oddly beautiful, filled with twirling streamers. Not that the farmer sees it that way, as his greenhouses and crops go up the funnel.
Tornado!
Finally, we're back to the USA, and this time ground zero, that is Tornado Alley. The vast southern prairies produce hot updrafts that fuel multi-twister attacks. And these storm chasers can't get enough of them. The problem is, when you're in the breeding ground for tornadoes, another one can pop up from nowhere and take you out.
I think I just almost peed my pants.
With hot, dry summers, every year California deals with the constant menace of wildfires. But in 2017, they were off the scale. Over 9,000 burnt over 1.3 million acres of land, an area larger than the entire Grand Canyon. And on December the 4th, the states of Ventura and Santa Barbara fell victim to one blaze that became the largest in California's history. In the small town, Ojai, it caught attorney Trevor Quirk by surprise.
I received a call from my neighbor, who is 93 years old. They said, "Trevor, do you know there's a fire?" I went outside my front door and I could see a glow coming from over the mountain, so I knew that we had a problem. So I put my wife and the kids in the car. I told her I was going to follow her down the mountain, and I never did. The winds were pretty bad, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. You know, we had a lot of dead trees because we had been in a drought. It literally was the perfect storm for a fire. There was fire on all sides of my property. My 93-year-old neighbor is on his tractor in my driveway. I get onto my tractor and we start cutting line. That is where you remove fuel from the earth so that when the fire reaches up to that certain point, it has nothing left to burn. I cut line around my property the rest of that day, all into the night. You have to put on goggles. You have red sparks literally flying by you because the winds are pushing the fire. It works unless you have these crazy wind events where it just blows right over the line, or you have these trees collapsing, reigniting and starting new fires again.
It's spotted down there, Justin, look at it.
You know, fire creates its own energy. This fire was 10 to 14 day event.
Throughout that fortnight, Trevor toiled round the clock to fashion burn breaks. At one point, going 2 days straight with no sleep as he tried to save his neighborhood.
I was super focused. My goal was to save my home, to save my neighbors' homes.
All right, time to do some work.
We had shovels and saws in the back of my truck. We were clearing the road, and you just do things that you don't normally do. We literally saved 3 of our neighbors' homes. If we weren't there, they wouldn't have a home.
Fighting alongside numerous selfless heroes like Trevor was the full force of the emergency services, including over 20 aircraft and 8,000 personnel. As the blaze spread to 13 miles, even they were taken to breaking point. In the end, the Thomas Fire, as it became known, burned for a month. It destroyed over 1,000 houses, claimed 40 lives, and caused an estimated $200 million of damage. But for one-man firefighting machine Trevor, it did at least have a happy ending.
There were times up here on this mountain where I thought I was not gonna make it. I thought I was gonna burn alive. I told my wife I was gonna follow her down the mountain, and I didn't follow her. So there was a moment where I thought I would never see her again. You never know how good something is until it's gone. And to have it back in your arms again it's hard to describe. I've always respected Mother Nature. I've never understood its power until I went through this.
When the camera gets switched on, some people can't help but show off. But Mother Nature has a nasty habit of bringing these poseurs down to earth with a bump. This guy, fixated on capturing his skiing skills, is showing scant regard for safety. The only issue with filming is it cuts both ways. It also records those more humiliating moments when things go tragically wrong. In just a few seconds, he goes from hero to big-time zero. This Australian hula hoop dancer feels only a magnificent ocean backdrop is worthy of her skills. What could be more natural than performing with the elements? But those elements have little time for boasters, and they deliver a knockout blow. Luckily, all that was damaged was her pride. Beach holiday checklist. Turquoise water? Check. Sun hat? Check. Inflatable pink flamingo? Check. This mum trying to be down with the kids seems like a disaster waiting to happen. After a decidedly uncertain entry,
Get in, man! It's good. Get in! What you think?
it's finally touchdown. Emboldened, she tries a few fancy moves. Before it all goes to pot. Maybe stick to sunbathing from now on, love. In Wisconsin, US, it's approaching winter. Not that it's cooling this stag's ardor. Feeling particularly virile, he spies a pretty-looking doe and pulls his best moves.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, it's ornamental. I bet that's given him the right hump. In Colorado, this frosty Tarzan is foolishly showing off to his mates. But as we all know, pride comes before a fall. All that was bruised was his ego. Still to come,
God keep us safe.
a group of climbers unexpectedly get snared by a raging canyon flash flood.
I was just hoping that this wasn't going to be our end.
And a daredevil risks his life to be first to the world's most spectacular lava lake.
There's nothing to describe it. It's like looking into the sun.
Earlier, we saw the devastating power of tornadoes as an EF3 ripped a deadly path through the center of Uruguayan town Dolores, leaving total carnage in its wake. As it reached the outskirts, it was lining up a group of warehouse workers, including Luis Bichalba, as its next unsuspecting targets.
Había muchas nubes. Y de repente esas nubes como que se empezaron a juntar de un lado y de otro, nubes oscuras y blancas, y empezamos a filmar.
No se lo llevará Amazoni. ¿Sabes qué favor nos devuelve?
Que bromeábamos, ¿viste? Porque no teníamos ni idea de lo que era.
Ahí viene yo.
Y nos metimos dentro de la oficina, tipo una garita policial, ¿viste? De fibra de vidrio o plástica. Y empezamos a tener la puerta porque sabíamos que se venía brava. Y ese ruido no te olvidas más. El ruido ese, el zumbido, parece un avión. Eso no te olvidas más. Y se empezó a mover todo, se empezó a romper los vidrios, se empezó a mover mucho la oficina y nos tiramos al suelo. No sé si giraba, estábamos moviéndonos, como que nos sacudía, nos giraba. Estábamos con el capataz en el suelo y nos abrazamos. Que sea lo que ellos quieran. Y cuando estábamos en el suelo se voló toda la oficina, se llevó los escritorios de adentro, se llevó los muebles, se llevó todo. Quedamos nosotros dos en el suelo. A nosotros no nos llevó. Y miramos a la derecha, que ahí había 7 galpones. Estaban todos en el suelo, no quedaba nada. Todos en el suelo. Y adentro había 13 personas trabajando. Lo primero que pensaba es que estaban muertos. Y empezaron a salir. Empezó a salir un compañero, empezó a salir otro, le empezamos a ayudar. Y hasta que salieron todos. Quedó todo hecho pedazos.
The Twister's irresistible power had demolished everything in its path. Earlier, radio DJ Freddie Planchen's studio was destroyed during a broadcast. Now he was wandering around the center of Dolores in a daze.
Cuando salgo del edificio me encuentro con la imagen de la ciudad en estado de guerra. Mucha gente que estaba sorprendida, quietita en su lugar, sin saber lo que le pasaba.
¿Estás bien? ¿Estás bien? Tranquila.
Todo el mundo estuvo como congelado inmediatamente después del tornado. ¿Qué es lo que estaba pasando? ¿Qué es lo que está pasando? ¿Qué nos pasa? Eso era la primera sensación que uno tiene al encontrarse con todo eso. por la calle viendo todos los edificios destruidos, autos dando vuelta, cables por todas partes, el sonido de las alarmas, árboles caídos. Y mi hijo más chico que me decía, papá, ¿qué le pasó a nuestra ciudad? ¿Qué le pasó a nuestra ciudad?
Tragically, 4 people lost their lives to the Dolores Twister. Over 200 were injured and more than 400 buildings destroyed. As the voice of the people, Freddie would go on to be crucial in helping this devastated community get back on its feet.
La radio pasó a ser muy necesaria y fue muy necesaria en la semana siguiente como para la asistencia, para el socorro. La radio fue el principal medio de comunicación que incluso utilizaron las propias autoridades para poder mantener la cohesión social. Y lo que uno aprende es a preocuparse de cosas realmente importantes y a entender que irte es cuestión de un instante.
Zion National Park in the US state of Utah. Zion can mean heavenly kingdom, and for adventurer Eric Hansen, this sandstone desert wilderness more than lives up to that description.
I still consider Zion National Park to be essentially my favorite place on earth. To me, it feels like a holy place. It's sandstone, and it's a very colorful environment, basically rich reds and oranges and yellows. And the unique thing about sandstone as well is that it erodes, really unique to any other rock structures. Basically, the canyons erode vertically, and so that's what makes this area, this landscape, particularly unique and particularly attractive for canyoneers.
In 2013, Eric was working as a wilderness guide, specializing in canyoneering. In this extreme sport, climbers descend canyons using ropes to rappel down sheer drop-offs. What sets Zion apart is its narrow ravines called slot canyons. And king of them all is Behunin.
It starts up at about 8,000 feet and you drop in, and then the canyon really starts very quickly and narrows up. You basically have a large series of drops. It's a narrow, long, and beautiful slot canyon.
On August 25th, Eric was climbing down Behunin with friends and his brother, a novice canyoneer, when conditions suddenly took a turn for the worse.
It was the end of August, and August in the Southwest is monsoon season. It's the most dangerous time of year to be canyoneering. The point at which stuff really started going wrong was actually about 8, maybe even 9 hours into our day. So we were basically at the last 5 to 10% of the canyon, and a light rain begins as that happens. Basically, to end Behunin Canyon, you have a 300-foot drop. So I rappelled first, and I see the water is starting to accumulate as it's now raining harder and harder, and then starts to flash flood, while my brother is actually 150 feet in the air.
Holy cow, holy cow, here it comes.
And it literally blows out of the canyon just right next to him. When my brother comes down, he's visibly shaken up.
Are you all right, Dave? I'm fine.
Eric, my friend, who's the last one of us to come down, the big concern is that before he's on the rope, he could get washed right off that ledge that he'd been stationed at to his death right in front of us.
Come down!
So we were quite ecstatic when we saw him get on the rope and come down, because you can see the water coming down on top of him. This is where everything changes really fast. 1 minute, it seemed like we were gonna get out of there. We were all excited. Eric makes it down. And within just a matter of moments, a wall of water comes down on top of us, and we just have to take cover.
Come under here. I don't know what's gonna come down.
Is that actually cut off our escape route? So we have to hide under this boulder that's leaning out just a few feet. And that's taking the force of this 300-foot waterfall that's coming down on top of us. And at this point, we can hear rocks coming down. We can hear the thud of things hitting. It just continued to build and grow and get more and more violent. The whole time we were literally about 30 feet from safety, and we just couldn't get there. There was nothing that we could do other than wait it out.
We can't move now. This is the best protection we're gonna have.
One of the things that I distinctly remember about that first wave of water was the smell of the water. It actually smelled like death. And that was because it's carrying with it all of this rotting debris that had been sitting in this canyon. And I was just hoping that this wasn't an ominous sign that this was going to be our end.
God keep us safe. Nothing will hit us. We will not drown. We will not be swept away. We will be perfectly safe in Jesus' name.
And after about 45 minutes or so, I started to notice that my speech was slowing down. I was getting less coordinated. I was having trouble moving. The early stages of hypothermia were setting in.
This is absolutely insane.
We're trying to figure out our plan. We do notice after about an hour, maybe hour 15, that the water starts to let up just a little bit. So we start moving, eventually able to make it across and get it to safety. And then just like that, we're on the other side and had made it out and we're alive. We didn't kind of know what to do.
That weather break was their savior, as a freezing night in Behunum would almost certainly have spelt disaster. It was to prove a massive learning curve for Eric.
I'm glad that I went through that near-death experience. That was a powerful moment for me in my personal growth. It gave me a proper sense of nature, of just its raw power and how quickly it can change. If you get on the wrong side of Mother Nature, you're powerless.
One of the most common extreme weather expressions is it's biblical. Well, in tribute to this, behold, as we give you our best biblical blockbusters. Furnace Creek, Death Valley, California. Officially the hottest place on Earth, with a record 56.7 degrees Celsius. So spare a thought for this lunatic, who's competing in his own private Death Valley Challenge.
3, 2, 1, go.
Today it's a mere 54 degrees, and John Rice is trying to run a sub 7-minute mile.
Oh no.
Oh, we lost his mask. Here we go.
The most obvious danger is heat stroke, and that can kill. Although his friends pose more of a risk.
Oh, don't run over him. Oh my God, I don't want to. It's okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
There you go, the world's hottest mile. This is Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. The reason for this blood flood is rather grisly. For the Eid religious festival, livestock is sacrificed, turning the streets crimson. In Iowa, USA, this character, who looks like he's from an Asterix comic with braids and helmet, has cocktails rudely interrupted by a whirling twister outside his mobile home.
Dude, look at this thing. That's a camper! That's prison camper!
It spilt their drinks all over the floor, proving the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. This guy in Quebec, Canada, is some kind of prophet, setting up his camera to capture heaven's burning arrows of lightning. As the rain lashes down and skies rumble ominously, he even yells to warn his friend of the peril.
Qu'as-tu vu ça? C'est malade!
And sure enough, just after he reaches sanctuary, a mighty bolt strikes down with great vengeance and furious anger. A few seconds earlier, he will have met his maker. When it comes to Mother Nature unleashing her full fury, nothing beats an active volcano.
You wouldn't believe how hot that was.
One man with a frankly unhealthy obsession is New Zealander Jeff Mackley.
What is my job? Professional idiot. So I'm in fine stead for climbing the volcanoes. I was hooked ever since I was a small boy. Could ask my teachers at primary school. Paper mache volcano, fire. I was hooked.
Although there are around 1,500 active volcanoes worldwide, Jeff is besotted by one in particular. The Marrum Lava Lake on the South Pacific island of Ambrin.
My need to go to Ambrin basically started with my need to see more lava up close. And I'd heard that there was a lake of molten lava. With that, the quest was on to get to the bottom. You know, people climb Mount Everest. My pinnacle was to be the first person down there. And that took about another 10 years and probably about $1 million out of my own pocket. It was an obsession.
The reason it took so long and cost so much was the volcano's microclimate is particularly hostile.
What do you think of the prospect of another nightmare?
Can I swear?
All that hot gas comes out of the volcano, mixes with warm, humid, unstable air, and all hell breaks loose.
Oh, Phil, it's Jeff here. Things have deteriorated majorly, so we'll need extracting out of here ASAP.
Basically, it's everything up there's trying to kill you and wreck your equipment. I'd say it's probably a little bit like being on another planet.
We've been totally hammered during the night. We're kind of wanting to get the hell out of here.
We're talking about an absolute hardcore perseverance. Perseverance to the bitter end.
After a decade trying to be first to reach Marrum's fiery cauldron, that never-say-die attitude finally paid off.
2012 was a year of success, basically, but it was a hard-won success. Terrible, terrible weather. I think we were there for 38 days of torrential rain, people going insane. We finally had a clear day. We'd set the ropes all the way to the bottom. Descent day is a big deal because it's a big cliff. 1,200 feet is a long way. You could put the world's tallest building in there. One mistake and you're dead. The best part about this is on the way down, it's all gravity. It's the unpredictability, the things you can't stop. Your rope might dislodge a rock, and that will be the thing that kills you. There might be an earthquake while you're on the cliff, or a severe storm and a flash flood. A mud flow of hell comes down the cliff.
Trying to clear rocks.
It's no joke, it's a life and death undertaking.
Oh, this is not good.
We're about 150 metres above the lava lake, and as you can see, we've come a long way. It's mind-boggling. And there's the goal down there.
After taking Jeff the best part of a day to descend Marham's crater, the prize at the bottom far exceeded expectations. He was so blinded by the spectacle, he shunned his personal safety.
Hurry up, I want to look in.
Said I'm going to the edge for real, no heat suit, just doing it. Film, don't stop.
5 meters. 2 meters. Oh my God. Oh good Jesus.
The best achievement of my life.
As you can imagine, it's incredible. Am I close enough to the edge?
The heat is phenomenal.
I can't go any closer.
Well, heat is like nothing you'll ever experience.
Don't get the suntan.
But only a few seconds perched above this natural 1,000 degrees Celsius furnace was threatening to cook Jeff alive. Before succumbing to heat and deadly gases, he donned his protective heat suit.
It's technically called a proximity suit. It allows you to get to very close proximity to something hot. What you've got to keep out is the superheated air, sulfur dioxide. If you breathe in one breath of that, you're dead.
What does it look like? It looks like all of my wildest dreams into one moment.
I remember that moment like it was yesterday. The best achievement of my life.
Even with the heat suit on, it's like being in an oven. There's nothing. There's nothing to describe it. Nothing on earth. It's like looking into the sun.
This is the most intense, amazing thing I've ever done. And you realise how totally insignificant you are in the face of such awesome power.
There are some brave or foolhardy souls out there who get their kicks from risking all and laughing in the face of Mother Nature. I call them certifiable loons, others daredevils. Kicking off our madcap mavericks is this bunch in Les Deux Alpes ski resort in France. They're about to compete in the Mountain of Hell race, a wintry downhill blast from 11,000 feet, taking on all obstacles in the Alps armory. While the packed-down pistes offer a smooth run, the cyclists are reaching speeds of up to 65 miles per hour. Then, as they get below the snow line, things really get tasty. Slippery scree is followed by rock, all at breakneck speeds. And if you venture off course, it gets painful. Just when the lactic burn is at its worst, they throw in a couple of jumps. And providing you're still in one piece, the torture mercifully ends around half an hour later. downhill of a different kind, and equally dangerous is this pair of crazy kids. Shunning the conventional slopes for urban snowboarding. One mistake and hospital beckons. Although it's a handy way to do an express paper delivery. Not to be outdone is this guy on his snowmobile. You need some serious horsepower to navigate these fences. Look, Mom, no hands. And probably not a lot of sense either. Back to the bikes. And on a gusty day in Brazil, this man thought it was a good idea to cross his local river the daring, unconventional way. Not content with his precarious swerving ascent, he pushes his luck with a wheelie. And just for good measure, he does it all over again. Really dangerous, of course. And lucky it wasn't a bridge too far. This man is called Tim Howell. Sensible name, not a sensible fella. He's with his equally unsensible girlfriend for an afternoon ski jaunt.
The rocks are in line. Okay, I'm going. See you down there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Straight off a 500-foot cliff. It's enough to take your breath away. Luckily, they do have enough sense to pack a parachute.
Yeah!
Almost sickeningly, this man with balls of steel executes the perfect touchdown. And he's good looking as well.
Yeah!
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature go ballistic. We've seen how helpless we can be.
I think I just almost peed my pants.
We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time, there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.